this series, you'll hear us refer to different resource types or content types in Tableau Server. This video is an orientation to those different content types and how they relate to each other. At the most basic level, we have the view. A view can be a single sheet or a dashboard. Bottom line, if you're looking at a visualization or a report, you're looking at a view. Multiple views can be collected together as part of a workbook, much as you can collect multiple tabs within a single Excel workbook. Moving one level up, we're now looking at the page for the workbook that contains the view we were just looking at. As you can see, we have several thumbnail images, one for each view contained in the workbook. We can get some metadata about the workbook up here in the header. We can see the owner of the workbook, how many times it's been viewed, etc. We can also see details about data sources included in the workbook, which brings us to our third content type. Data sources are the resources that provide the data that populates the visualizations. They can be shared and managed centrally by being published to Tableau Server, which allows other users to connect to them for their own data exploration. Or they can be packaged along with a published workbook. This type of data source cannot be accessed by an end user for data exploration. Users can only see the visualizations that have been created off of it. We can see here that this data source is part of the workbook because in the Connects To column, the name is black. However, this data source has been published to Tableau Server because we've got a blue clickable hyperlink here that takes us to the data source's individual resource page. From here, we can see details like who owns the data source, how many workbooks are connected to it, and when the data source extract was last refreshed with new data. Any data that was added to the database after the refresh time won't be included in the visualizations or reports that the data source powers. We can also see a list of which workbooks are connected to the data source. Workbooks and data sources are both published to projects. Projects are like folders in your computer that can contain multiple files. Most organizations use projects to group content according to teams or departments. As an end user, you may only have permission to access projects relevant to your team or department. From the default Tableau Server Start page, you have the ability to browse content by project, workbook, view, or data source. On any given resource page, you can use the breadcrumbs to navigate back to the relevant workbook or project. Now that you know your resources, you'll be able to follow along with the rest of Marquis Data's Tableau Server tips.